Be strong.
Hi, this is Joy with Stuff to Discuss, and I am here with Denise and Linsay Rousseau. Is that how you say it?
Yep,
right?
Close it up.
Yeah, you know, I'm butchering names. I'm so sorry. But anyway, we're here with her today. I'm so glad you're here and spending your time with us to tell us your journey and educating the viewers on how you just got, into the industry, basically. So, I'm going to introduce you, and like I just did, but you're an actor, voiceover artist, a motion capture performer, and all the things you've done. I always ask people, have you not jumped off planes? Have you not drove in a train? You've done a whole bunch. What's going on?
I have jumped off planes.
No, stop.
Oh, God bless you.
I always wanted to hang glide, but I don't know about jumping off plane. Yeah. Oh
no, I've done a few tandem parachute jumps. I've never jumped on my own, but I've done some tandems.
I think, yeah.
Oh,
if I was ever going to do it, I would have to go with somebody. There's no way.
No.
I would just go splat.
So you hope your parachute opens. That's what you hope.
Right.
I hope so.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, we're going to get started, and there you go.
Okay. So I have seen that you've done multiple jobs while serving in the military. Did these experiences become who you are today?
Oh, I mean, every experience makes you who you are. There's not a thing you can do in your life that doesn't impact your life, obviously. So yeah, absolutely. My time in the military has had a big influence on my life. I was a combat photographer and public affairs sergeant. So, took pictures, took videos with the 101st Airborne Division. So I was mostly with infantry guys. I was with the Special Forces unit for a couple months. So yeah, I was documenting video, photos, writing press releases, dealing with embedded media. A lot of bad things happen and a lot of kind of not so bad things happened. But no, you learn and grow from every experience, and and sometimes having a lot of bad things happen in your life can make you a stronger person. And especially like if you're in a situation now like COVID, it's like, well, I'm not in the desert and I'm not getting shot at.
Yeah.
So things are looking up,
That's right.
It's all about perspective.
Well, you get creative when stuff like this happen. And I feel like when we go through a problem or situation and the ideas start coming, you're like, well, I'm going to make it work some kind of way. So that's cool how
that's definitely one thing, and again, there was a lot of not so great things that happened in the military, but I will say, it prepares you to kind of be ready for anything, to be resourceful and to learn how to put up. I mean, you realize that your tolerance level for shit just is elevated.
Exactly. Cool.
Right. Yes.
You become tough, a warrior. Yes, there you go.
That's right. And thank you for your service also.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. Her brother also is in the Marines. I almost forgot where he was. He served as a Marine. So yeah, he was wishing.
Your brother?
Yeah, my husband.
Oh, your brother. Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Yes. Yeah, he wished he was in the Air Force and the Navy because he said they got lobster and all that stuff. He said they didn't get that; they got slop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but cool. Yes.
Okay. After spending several decades performing on stage, was it a smooth transition to voiceover and on-camera work?
Yeah, I mean, I guess smooth is an interesting word. I will say, theater, to me, theater is kind of like playing the piano, and that it's like the foundation of everything.
Oh.
Because acting is acting. And one of the things that I love about theater is that, you learn how to really, because you have time, you're in rehearsals for months before you're performing. You have time to dissect scripts and dissect characters and really learn a lot about script analysis and character development and all those types of things. And then, if you're performing live on stage, it's like, you're memorizing scripts for a 2-hour show, and you have to constantly be on and be on your feet because something can go wrong at any moment, which it does a lot. You know, obviously did a lot of training as well. And so like that, I feel like was the solid acting foundation, which I think really set me up. And then once I did transition into voiceover and on camera work, then it's a matter of taking that foundation and tweaking it to fit the medium that you are now performing in. Because, you know, like I said, acting is acting, but there are different techniques, there are different styles, there are different ways of performing for voiceover, for on camera, but especially for voiceover, especially is like, you know, theater, you really have to learn how to use your imagination because you're creating that scenario around you. And, you know, that's exactly what you do for voiceover and motion. It's like you're creating that environment. And so, and you know, my memorization skills are pretty fantastic. So, you know, when it comes to like motion capture and things like that, it's like I have friends who are like, I do voiceover mostly. Like, I don't know how to memorize a script. I've never had to do that. And I'm like, cool. I've got 20 minutes to memorize 5 pages. Let's do this.
Oh, wow. My God. I was actually talking to my sister-in-law. I'm like, I don't know how people, especially, you know, even on the soaps too, like
oh my gosh, it's craziness. Soap operas, man, they have a work ethic. It is absolutely, because yeah, they literally are shooting like an entire episode in a day, and they're getting that script sometimes a day before. And you know, because I was lucky enough to film a couple days on General Hospital, and it's like, you know, your regulars, the ones who are like they're like quickly looking through the script, and then they're shooting the scene, and then it's like, okay, next scene, and they're looking through the script, and then they're shooting the scene, and it's like 2 takes, maybe 3. So it's like, you got to get through it. It is a well-oiled machine.
Do you like, how do you feel when someone is, and this is not the question, but like when actors get script, and then a lot of times they like to change up on the, you know, way you learn a certain, you know, you learn the script, and then I'll say like, you know, we want to change some words. Now you said your memory is good, so how does that work with your memory?
No, I mean, and that's again, it's you have to be flexible and you have to be adaptable because it happens all the time. You learn everything, and it's like, that's exactly it. You know, and this happens a lot more in comedy, I would say.
Really? Wow.
I went and, you know, I watched a couple tapings of some different sitcoms, you know, and have some friends who've been on some different shows, and, you know, the especially if they're doing it for a live audience or something, like they'll do the scene and that joke just didn't land right. And the writers will literally be there in the moment rewriting the jokes. And it's like, that one didn't land, try this one. That one didn't land, try this one. So you really do have to be able to, you know, and it's, you know, whereas in theater, a lot of times, like if you're doing Shakespeare, you better get those words right. Because if you change them, somebody will know.
You can't ad-lib.
Yeah, exactly. You can't ad-lib. But, you know, for other things, you know, it is a balance between respecting what the writer has done, you know, and they, you know, they are master craftsmen, obviously, respecting what the writer has done, but then also making the character your own, and then realizing, oh, you know what, this worked in my head, but now that I'm hearing it out loud, we need to tweak things a little bit. So yeah, you can't, again, as with many jobs, entertainment's all about being flexible and adaptable.
There you go. Got you. That's cool.
Exactly. Okay, what would you say is the difference between acting in daytime television versus primetime television?
I mean, I've only done a little bit of this, so I am not...
Oh, just lie to us and say
you're not an expert in this. I am not the authority in this. But one thing what I will say is that for the few things that I have done, like I said, you know, I did several days of shooting for General Hospital, and for soaps, they are getting through an entire episode in a day. So we're talking, they're probably having to get through maybe different, you know, 150 different shots, 300 different shots, you know. So, you know, when I shot General Hospital, it was literally an entire floor of like a warehouse, and there was different sets throughout it. And, you know, they would turn the lights up on the one set. All of the equipment was on, you know, automated wheels, and they'd drive it down. They'd get everything set up and ready. You do one rehearsal pass, and then you shoot. if something got messed up, you'd shoot again. If not, picking up, moving on to the next scene. And it's like you're in your waiting room and you're in the dressing room and they announce which scene is next and you have to be ready to go because they are on a time constraint. Whereas when you're looking at, primetime television, so comedies, you're shooting an episode a day. It's usually a couple hours to shoot an episode. For, hour-long dramas, it could take a week to shoot an episode. When I did,
Really? Wow.
absolutely. When I did SEAL Team, my scene was 2 days of shooting for just one scene.
Oh,
And
wow.
they had and it was going to take them a week or another week to finish just that episode.
Wow.
NCIS, we shot that entire, I think we shot the entire episode in one day. It might have taken 2 days, but that's the big difference is that, your 30-minute sitcoms, 20-minute sitcoms, you can knock that out in a day.
Right.
Longer stuff, especially like if you're on location, SEAL Team, we were in an airplane, so we had to go out to, so you're on location, you still have a time frame that you have to stick to.
Right.
But I will say, man, when I was with soap operas, they are just like,
They on it.
ooh,
You know what? I heard about
fast-paced.
soap operas. I don't know where the rumor got around, but they were saying soap operas they went off. They're like, oh, they're bad actors because they offer a teleprompter. And I was like, and I have done extra work for General Hospital as well. And I was like, I'm so glad I'm doing this so I can actually see how true this is.
Yeah,
and it
no,
was, and I was like, oh my
teleprompter.
God, this is like totally not what
Yeah, I know there were no teleprompters, but it's
exactly. Yeah, it was so funny.
really,
though. Yeah.
I mean, yes, I will say like maybe you don't. I mean, for the contract players,
Right.
they know that character. They've been with that character for
Exactly.
a really long time. But it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're going through something that quickly, then I will say, they don't have the time to sit and like direct every little minutia in the scene. It's like you better bring your A game,
Right.
because you better hit that scene and hit that emotion and hit whatever it is they need the first time,
Right.
or that might be it for you. You might
Exactly,
not work
yeah.
again.
Exactly.
Know,
That is so cool
Yes.
to know. Yeah. All right. What advice would you give someone interested in being a motion capture performer? Because like I told you, I told my friend yesterday, we was talking, and he said, oh, that is so exciting to do. And this is when you put all the dots and all that other stuff on your body.
Yeah,
And they got
what I will say is that nobody is, well, I can think of one exception.
okay.
Nobody is just a motion capture performer.
Oh,
It covers the gauntlet. So within motion capture, that's kind of a big overarching term.
Oh, okay.
You within that, so you have motion capture, which is just the body capture. You have performance capture, which is body, face, and a lot of times audio as well.
Okay.
When you're talking performance capture, that's usually an actor who auditioned, either it was a voiceover actor, even an on-camera actor. I'm sure people have seen the behind-the-scenes stuff from Avatar and from
I think I saw from Cal.
and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are on-camera actors and voiceover actors who auditioned for those roles. Then you have like your motion, specifically and mostly within video games, you have your movement people, your motion capture movement people, who are traditionally stunt performers.
Okay.
So they're the ones who will come in and do movement cycles. So again, this is often very specific to video games. You have characters who are, you have to capture walk cycles and movement cycles. It's very repetitive work.
Okay.
It's very tedious work, but you need to know how to do it accurately. Again, because time is money. And the stunt performers, they will come in and do a lot of the action scenes. And so it's very common in a video game that the capturing of a character, that character will actually have been played by multiple people. You will have the actor who came in and did the cinematic scenes, doing voice and face and body movement. You have the stunt performer who came and did some of the action stuff, but you could have 4 different stunt performers doing it because it's just a matter of, this is the scene we're capturing today. This is who just happens to be in the volume today. So, for motion capture, if that's something you're very interested in, then there's a lot of training to be had. The mocap vaults here in LA is fantastic, but people who have a stunt background, a dance background, a gymnastics background.
Oh, cool.
It's all about, learning that. But again, as with so many of us in the entertainment industry, you wear multiple hats. So it's like one day, and I have a lot of friends in the stunt industry, they'll be shooting a video game at the motion capture stage. The next day they're shooting an episode of, LA's Finest. The next day they're on set shooting some feature film. So it's all about adaptability. But you do need to make sure, especially now because motion capture is becoming much more prominent, and I've had this conversation with a lot of voiceover friends of mine who a dear friend of mine was cast in a game, and he was kind of freaking out. He's like, Linsay, I've never done mocap before. I'm so nervous. I was like, just relax. Like,
yeah,
you don't have to worry about it. You literally just show up and do your thing, but it is helpful, at least for your own peace of mind, to be familiar with the terminology, with the language, what the volumes look like, how the suits, there's different things. There's different things to know about. And like, again, as with any medium, there's different techniques for that medium. So the way that you move your body on camera is different than the way you move your body on stage is different than the way you move your body for motion capture. It's like there's a lot of similarities and overlap, but
do they tell you where you, like, for the motion capture, some have you on a harness and you, like, unless you're doing like Spider-Man or you're doing,
and again, that's your stunt performers.
That's the stunt. Okay, so no, they won't throw no one into that.
For example, okay. Spider-Man, the Spider-Man video game, Yuri Lowenthal was the voice of Peter Parker, amazing voice actor, absolutely phenomenal. So he would come into the mocap stage and they'd suit him up, facial audio. He would do all of the cinematic things. Now, Spider-Man is very physical. So while they're doing the cinematic scenes, they also had one or two stunt performers suited up who would be mimicking his movements together. They blend that together in post. Then on other days, they capture all of the action footage, all of the movement footage, which Yuri doesn't need to be there for.
Okay, gotcha. Right.
So that's exactly. So video games, which is one of the reasons I love video games, they're probably my favorite medium, is because it really is a synergy. It's because you have the ability with technology to merge all of these elements. You can have multiple people help, portray this one character, which again, when people are playing the game, you would never know that. It's because it's so fluid. It's so intuitive, but a lot went into creating that character.
Wow. And that's what I was thinking of, because I'm like, I was wondering how they did that, because we know a guy that did this, what is it? The other Spider-Man thing. He's young. I forgot it, but I can't think of it now. But anyway, but it was like, I was like, I wonder how that feels when you're on a harness and you got these, I know there's stunts, but it's like, that's probably the fun part, where you go and fly over here. And you do all this.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is, because obviously if you're doing a live action feature, Spider-Man, Avengers, whatever, you've got your actor and you've got your stunt performers, and especially with action movies, it's like you're blending again.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's like, that's you see the actor's face here, but that's all the stunt performer doing that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, with video games, except it doesn't matter what your face looks like because they can't see it anyways. And they're just putting a skin over it.
Right. No, that seems a lot of fun. When I first heard that, I'm like, what the heck is, and they have language or lingo for everything. So I was like, okay, motion captured, it's honestly,
for me, I think it's probably might be my preferred medium, only because it's about as close as you can get to theater.
Oh, okay.
While still being able to pay the bills.
There you
go. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm totally impressed, and you do it well. We saw your videos. You do it well.
You know what? Because because now my son is a big gamer.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just look at the game and you're like, oh, not that it's just a game, but you don't realize how detailed and, like you just explained to us, how much work goes into it.
A big AAA title like, say, God of War or Last of Us, those games can be in development for years.
Wow.
Like, TV shows, you're knocking them out in a day. Feature films maybe takes a year. Like video games, because of how much is involved, so many of those games could literally be in development for 2 to even 10 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So it's like because I know feature films, you could go along, they don't bring it out until like a 2-year, 3-year kind of thing too, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a big action feature, then those could, again, because it's the CGI, it's all the post effects, and, video games are very tech heavy.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Wow.
interesting. Didn't know that herself.
No.
Well, now, yeah, Linsay, can you tell us, how did you reside in California here? Because you're here in California, correct?
I am. Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a journey. So when I got out of the military, 2007, wasn't really sure what to do, but I was like, I've been doing journalism, in the military, photography. Let's just keep doing that. So I applied to graduate schools and was accepted to UC Berkeley's Graduate School of Journalism.
Wow.
So I left Fort Campbell, Kentucky, or Clarksville, Tennessee, moved to Berkeley in 2008, and I was working on my master's it was a 2-year program, and was lucky enough I was a Carnegie Fellow for ABC News's investigative program, and then I was working for PBS Frontline.
Wow.
On a lot of their documentaries. And then kind of had just had enough of it, and was like, you know what? I'm stressed out.
Wow.
It's taking its toll on my health between, the military and the intensity of graduate school, and then as an investigative reporter, dealing with a lot of really heavy material.
Right.
I decided to go back to theater, and so I quit journalism in 2010. Yeah, 2010, and started back up in theater. It obviously had been quite a few years, but
felt good, right? It felt really good. Yeah, you coming back.
It felt amazing, because I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be overworked and underpaid, I'm going to do what I love.
Might as well do it
Exactly.
That's right.
That was performing, and so I worked. So I was doing theater for about 6 years in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I became a certified substitute teacher, so I was teaching every day. I was also a musical theater teacher to kids. I was a singing techer. I was working for a granola bar company. I mean, I wasn't really sleeping.
No, it sounds like it were.
You do what you have to do. So it's
Yeah,
I'd be up at 5 a.m. to go teach from 7 to 3, and then eat some food, and then run to a rehearsal from 6 to 10. And then if it was show was in performance and teaching, whatever. But then, so did that for about 6-7 years before, discovering voiceover and kind of making the transition into that, and then realized theater's just not sustainable here, and really decided to step away from the stage and really focus on voiceover and on camera, and then made the move to LA April of 2016, and I've been here ever since. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
I like how you put that. Yeah, but no, once you're like, why beat myself up with this? And then you do something for fun. You want to make sure that you go out.
It's hard work. I mean, and it's definitely not for everybody. Right. I mean, of course, people thought I was crazy. They're like, you're how old, and you're going to be an actor, and you're moving to LA? Like, that's for 20-year-olds. And I was like, whatever. But I will say it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, as with any kind of freelance job, and I include journalists in this, journalists, writers, artists, anybody who is in some sort of freelance field or artistic field, you don't have that job security. You don't have that 9 to 5, that pension plan, that, whatever.
Yeah,
and you aren't gonna well, a few exceptions, but from day one, you're not necessarily going to be able to pay your bills with your passion.
No.
You have to, it's a sacrifice. It's like, I didn't sleep for 6-7 years. All of my time was I was either doing my side jobs, or I'm auditioning, doing my side jobs, I'm, whatever, but it's a hustle. I mean,
and it pays off, and that's the good part about that. When you hustle and you go through all that, and you look back at the times what you did, and then in the payoff is the real good gift at
exactly.
that. So,
exactly.
Awesome.
But it's a lot of, I think they say the average person who moves to LA washes out within 2 years.
Wow.
Because it's hard. And so. I did, I was thankful that, I have health insurance, because I'm a veteran. So it's like, that's one thing I didn't have to worry about that a lot of my friends really do have to worry about. And it's like, how do you balance these things out? And, and for me, again, because I've had so many life experiences, for me, that's why it was really important to not just get shoehorned into one thing, to just constantly be expanding my skill set. It's like, oh man, voiceover is just where things have really clicked. But it's like, you know what, but that doesn't mean I'm going to turn down an on-camera opportunity. It doesn't mean I'm going to turn down a mocap opportunity. It's like, and you know what? I like the tech side of things. So let's learn about this motion capture technology. And it's like, great. Exactly. So now I'm working as a mocap tech, and now I'm working, I was working for Sony Interactive as a PA on their mocap stage. Cause it's like, you learn all these different skills, because when something, say like COVID happens, you have other things to focus on. It's like you're if you have just one source of income, the friends of mine that I have that are dear friends who maybe are just on camera actors, and I don't say that pejoratively. I mean, that's where their focus is. Have been hit really hard because on camera shut down. I mean, thankfully, voiceover, I have a home studio. We are able to record from home. So we were able to keep going, It's let me focus on writing. I've got some screenplays in the works and pilots in the works. So so it's kind of one of those, life throws throws a wrench in it. And again, it goes back to adaptability. How can I pivot and figure out something else to do? Oh, okay, I can't do this right now. Cool, I'm going to focus on this right now.
Right. No, my uncle taught me that way, where I didn't know what he was talking about at first. When I first got out of high school, it's like, always have other things under your belt. Learn, like if you worked in the office, make sure you learn the receptionist part, the accounting part. I now understand what he's talking about.
It only makes you a better person, because it's like, if you can understand what that person does, it's, and again, motion capture is the perfect example of this. It's like, if I understand a little bit about how the mocap technology works, that helps me more as a performer, because it's like, oh, I know the dev needs this walk cycle to be able to loop it for this character over here. That informs me to know, okay, this is how this character moves. This is exactly how a walk cycle is done. And so it just goes a lot smoother, and you don't have to take the time to figure stuff out like that. So knowing other people's jobs it never hurts. You can never have too much information.
That is totally.
That's right.
You're just a walking encyclopedia. That's what you are. All right. I think this is our last question. I think it is. Or did you have more to say? Or
no.
Okay.
I always have more to say.
You always have more to say.
How much time you have?
There you go. Now, how does it feel to be an ambassador? Because we've checked you out about your pinup. It was like pinup. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. It's interesting. So when I got out of the military, I kind of was like, I'm done. I don't want to have anything to do with being a military, being a veteran. I just kind of really cut myself off, because again, combat, war, dealing with a lot of issues, PTSD, a lot of other things. So I really kind of just like moved on and kind of put all that behind me. But when I moved to LA, I met, some really, I kind of got tapped in. I met some really interesting veterans who were in the entertainment industry. And, we kind of had a network, we have a network group of us that, we share information and, if auditions come out, things like that.
Nice.
And through that, I got hooked up with Gina Elise, who is the founder of Pinups for Vets. Okay. And I was like, this seems like a really cool thing to be doing. Like it's a way for veterans to give back to veterans in a really unique way. Right. So the organization, Gina is a civilian, but almost all the women in the organization were all veterans, all female veterans from all the branches. Right. How it got started was, the organization's been around for about 10 years now, is she would do a pinup calendar every year. And that has just morphed into bigger and better things. So we still do that every year, but the thing that's, and that's how we raise money. All the money that we raise goes to purchasing rehabilitation equipment for veterans hospitals, veterans retirement centers. But the other thing that we do is kind of morale stuff. We dress up and we visit veteran retirement homes. We visit patients who are at veterans hospitals and aren't able to get out. And so, and it's really exciting and to kind of go and bring a smile to, as cliche as that sounds, but bring a smile to someone's face, to hear some of the stories that's had, like we went to a retirement home and I met this 95-year-old female Air Force veteran. And man, did she have stories. And we were just like, lady, you paved the way for us.
Right.
We wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for what you did. And it's a good group of women in the group. We all come from obviously different backgrounds, different, whatever. But it is kind of like, a little sisterhood that we have going on. So yeah.
Cool. Wow. You said
check out Pinups for Vets. It's amazing.
10 years. They remind me of the
2021 calendars in pre-order right now, I think. I'm not in
No, it reminds me when you said that, I was thinking of firemen. I don't know why, because they have that pin-up thing for firemen, or they have pin-ups for.
Yeah, I should have. If I'd known you were going to ask me about that, I would have. I have my calendar from 2 years ago.
Do you? Oh, look at you go! Yeah, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so you do podcasts? Do you have a podcast?
I don't have well, sort of. So I'm also a producer and a streamer for the D&D network, Fabled 42. We live stream on Twitch, and then that's all exported to YouTube and to also podcast. But I host a talk show for them called The Rollout, which is every Wednesday at 5. I also live stream Dungeons and Dragons starting every Monday, this coming Monday, and then every other Sunday. And then we do a lot of one-shots. We just had a big convention, virtual convention this weekend. So I had some crazy costumes that I was doing for a lot of my characters. But and that's another great community. I'd been with Fabled 42 for probably about a year or so playing for them. And then COVID hit, and, for us, we were a live streaming network. And it's like, this actually was kind of a great thing to happen. Saying that with all due respect to everything that's happened.
I know.
But it's like all of a sudden people are like, oh, you sit at home in front of a computer for 4 or 5 hours and play. And now all of a sudden COVID hit, people are like, we have nothing to do. Let's watch 4 hours of Dungeons and Dragons. And it's like, so all of a sudden, our community has just blown up over the past 6 months. And one of the things I did when I came on board as a producer is, the founder of the organization, Chris Solo, is a veteran. I'm a veteran. We both had, some other veterans in the community. And I was like, we need a charity. And I reached out to the Wounded Warrior Project, and because they've got a live streaming team, and we teamed up with them. They're now our official charity, so we'll do streams where we raise money for them, and we've done
that's fantastic
events. So again, it's been another really unique and different way to be involved in the veteran community, and to do some good. And that's the thing I really like to impress upon people, is that veterans are not a homogeneous group.
Right.
We are as diverse as this country, obviously. It's like, so don't make assumptions about us.
Yes,
that's right.
We're all different.
Yes.
You might have some preconceived notions. Just put those away. So that's also been a really
I know veterans are all over. I know they do things like they'll be at a job here, and you're like, they say, I used to do this, and they were like, and then they're doing like being in they'll be in a certain area, like they're doing, like you said, acting or whatever, and you're like, well, what made you want to do that? And then they're like, well, yeah, I was a vet, and you're like, oh my goodness, or I did this, and that is so exciting. But I get you. That is so wow. Okay, so I gotta get with the tweet, the what is it? Twitter? I can't
Twitter.
Can't even say it right. But I'll get my life. I'll get it today. Awesome. Oh my jeez. But oh my God, I am excited. I didn't expect this out of you. I was just like, look at her. She's doing it all. And
I mean, like I said, you gotta pivot. You gotta, I'm the type of person that likes to stay busy. So I'm just like, COVID. I don't have to drive all over LA going to auditions. Cool. What can I now fill that time with?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
and
writing, training.
Well, this helped us out too, like you said, because I was afraid. Like I told you, I was doing red carpets, but I was also going to try to go to people if they wanted me to go to their homes or meet somewhere to start interviewing, or to a radio station or something like that, a podcast. But this totally helped. My son is the one that is her nephew too, that mentioned, hey, you should start this now while people are in their house. And I'm like, you're right. And I was scared. I ain't gonna admit it, but yeah, I'm admitting it now. But it's just that this has so helped us a lot. And so definitely appreciate how, and when we look up biographies and we look up the questions, and we want to make sure we're not asking stupid questions. We want to make sure that it's definitely the right
I
one.
was a journalist and I've done hosting. It's like, I know all about like interviews.
Thank you. But I cringe when I hear them ask the stupid question. I'm like, oh my God, don't ask that question. Stop it,
And especially personal questions.
Oh,
personal question. Why?
Now the trivia pursuit might be personal. Just kidding, I'm messing. No, but
the trivia is just fun. It's not.
All right, so we like to have fun on this channel, and we're gonna get started with this short little bitty trivia pursuit and see how you can answer it right away. Okay.
Oh Lord.
So you ready?
Putting me on the spot. Okay.
Girl, you remember you said you got this. You got it. Okay.
Oh, she's got it. I know she does. Okay. What is one of the things you would put on your bucket list?
A thing I would put on my bucket list.
Yeah. Girl, you know you got one.
Oh my God, there's so many.
Ooh, come on.
Something before like crazy off the wall or like career or something.
Would you eat worms or would you jump out? Well, you already jumped out of the plane, so that's
worms.
Check that off.
I guess, things that I've wanted to do, like I would really love to do a road trip to all the national parks in the country.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Because I grew up in national parks. My parents were former national park rangers. So I grew up in national parks, but I would love to go to all of them. That's something I could say that's a bucket list thing.
There you go.
I also love to travel, and I want to do a lot of traveling. There's so many countries I want to go to. I'd love to go scuba diving in Costa Rica, things like that.
All right, said one.
All right, no, you know what? But I think she'll do all of them.
She'll do
when
all.
the time when she can.
We'll probably meet up again.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Who is your favorite superhero?
Oh, she wore that on purpose.
If you don't know the shirt reference, this would be Captain Marvel.
Yeah, there you go. She wore that on purpose.
I have a collection of her action figures.
Do you really? Yeah.
Captain Marvel. There's a couple superheroes that I really, really love, but when Kelly Sue DeConnick did the re-release or did the Captain Marvel comic that came out, I think it was 2006, that really got me back into comics. But when I was reading through I was like, this is my spirit animal, because she is a veteran, she is a badass, and she's a huge Star Wars geek. They changed it in the movie, but in the comics, her cat's name is Chewie.
Oh no. There it is.
I don't know if it's a bucket list, but it's a career goal. Like, one of my dreams is to voice Captain Marvel in either an animated series or a video game or something like that. Because I'm a huge fan.
Well, once you talk it out into existence, it's gonna happen.
That's right. I was just gonna say that.
You were gonna say that. I stole it.
Right. That's it. You put it out there. Now it has to happen.
It has to happen.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So, what is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Well, I'm vegan, so
okay.
That's changed a lot. I guess the strangest thing was, so I'm vegan. I went vegetarian at 13, but I was living in the Venezuela, the Delta Orinoco, so the Amazon rainforest in Venezuela. I was living. I was living with an indigenous tribe, the Warao. I was living in an indigenous tribe in the middle of the Amazon Delta. So literally, the houses are on stilts in the water. No walls, no nothing.
Yeah.
Sleeping in hammocks. But I was like, oh crap. Well, veganism's not really going to be a thing out here. So I guess the weirdest thing I ate was river rat, because it was like, well, I got to eat something. And so
I know.
I am blanking on the Warao word for it. It obviously was not, but it essentially translated to river rat. So that might be the weirdest thing I've ever.
Oh, it sounds like the weirdest thing.
Vegan food is weird. So
that tops it.
Oh no! I mean, listen, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. That has to be your plan B too. Like, if there's nothing else you have to eat something to survive.
It was that and purple potatoes. So
Oh God! Yeah, there it is. How funny.
Okay. If you could get yourself anything, what would you get?
Like
anything in the world that you always think you could get, what would you get yourself?
Like a power or like something I would buy?
No, like an item problem, like an
item.
An
item.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought of something you can get, babe?
I mean, like, I want an electric car. I mean, is that?
Do you really?
I do. Well, it's interesting. I have a Prius, but I was like,
Hmm.
I'm a big fan. Who cares? I'm a big fan of Subaru, and so I was like, oh, I really want an electric Subaru. Too bad they don't have one now. And then I was reading an article. It's like Subaru is partnered with Toyota. They're coming out with an electric.
They're coming out with it, yeah.
Like, well, I know what I'm getting in 2020.
That's right.
That's right. See, spoke it out in existence again.
Or like, I don't know, a really expensive microphone that I may or may not need. I'm one of those people, though. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, if you had $1 million, what would you buy? And I'm like, honestly, I'd travel. Like, I really don't need much.
Too.
Because like growing up the way I grew up, we moved a lot. We lived in rural areas, and then being in the military, it's like.
So you already seen the world.
It's like I don't, it's really hard to hold on to items. Like, yeah, I've got all my like collectibles and geeky stuff, but it's like, if I had $1 million, I'd just be like going all over the place. I don't need a Lamborghini or a mansion.
Yes.
I'm like, nah.
Got you. All right.
Yeah. It's just about enjoying life.
Yeah, it is.
That's it.
Exactly.
All right, fast. Okay.
What is your favorite video game? Oh yeah, I think she answered that.
She did say it.
No, I have quite a few, but I'm gonna have to say Skyrim.
Oh, nice.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but that's okay.
No, I do. I actually heard that game.
No, the Elder Scrolls series, and Skyrim followed up by Knights of the Old Republic, only because like those were two kind of revolutionary. Knights of the Old Republic for sure was like revolutionary when it came to storytelling. It's considered as having one of the best story arc reveals in any video game. And Skyrim, just at the time when it came out, the production quality, it was like immersive and there was so much to do, and like it is one of my favorite soundtracks, like the music and everything. So
cool. Okay, nice. All right, come on.
Usually that's what draws you in. Everything. Okay. What is your favorite Halloween costume?
Yeah, because we asked this because now it's Halloween.
It might.
But are you gonna dress like?
I don't know how I would say favorite. Is that like presuming that I've dressed up as the same thing multiple times?
Okay, whatever, surprises.
I always do something different each year when I do dress up. I mean, like the past week we did some, for our D&D streams, I dressed up for a couple of the characters that I'm playing, and that's always fun. I do have a rogue costume.
Do you?
That's
cool.
Rogue. I'm a big fan of that. Like that was like the first like cosplay I ever bought.
No way.
I'm very proud of my rogue costume.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should be. Yes. All right, last one.
Okay. Do you have any pet peeves? Because we all have
pet peeves. Come on. Actually, that's what our show was about. Pet peeves.
How much time do you have left? It's interesting. So I'm a pretty tolerant person. Like, again, growing up the way I grew up, all of the things that I've done in my life, I've been around so many different types of people. I'm pretty tolerant of a lot of things. I would say for me, and I don't know if this qualifies as a pet peeve, but for me, honesty and being genuine. People who are not honest.
Right.
And people who are constantly trying to project that they are someone they are not.
Oh,
yes.
That is the worst.
Maybe it's my old age, because I kind of got to the point in my life where I was like, you know what? I don't have anyone to impress.
Yeah,
I'm doing this for me.
Yeah,
that's right.
And also, like, I have no patience for people who can't be honest with me. Like, the older you get, the more, and it's interesting when I moved to LA, and especially during quarantine, I'm like, I know the type of people I want in my life and the type of people I don't.
Right.
And I no longer feel like I need to make up excuses as to why I should cater to the people I don't want in my life. Like, I don't want negativity around me.
Oh,
no.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, again, I've had a lot of negative things happen in my life. Like, and it's, again, this is a hard industry. It's like, no, I got to keep it positive. I need people around me.
Exactly.
I can trust them and they are genuine. And it's the same with me. I was like, there's probably a lot of things I do that people don't like, but you know what?
Yeah.
You get what you get.
You get what you get.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank
I
you for
feel
that.
this-
You answered that like she answered like really fast. I'm trying to get her out
Same
so she
way,
can get her.
though.
Uh-huh.
Because Joanne, like we were talking about, it's like when you have people, it has nothing to do with the interview, but I'm just gonna say, you know, like sometimes it just drains you, and she's like, I just don't feel like
don't have
doing
the
this.
bandwidth. And you know,
Yes.
and again,
I
for
know.
anybody who is in kind of, you know, this the unstableness of being a freelancer or being a contractor, it's like you have to spend so much energy day to day, and you have to stay positive. Like 99% of this job is rejection. You know, it's like I think the numbers are like you book 1 out of every 100 auditions that you do. It might even be higher than that. So it's like you're already in an industry that's like you're set up to fail. So
Exactly.
There you
you have to stay positive. You have to stay
Right.
above it. And so it's anything that's going to drain you of that is just,
Right.
you can't
go.
do
You
it.
do it very well.
No.
She's like, all right.
You
Well,
know,
thank you for that.
and-
That was the whole
Yes.
big old trivia thing that we got to get her going because she got an
that was-
audition.
okay, that was
We got an
another
audition
one.
to go after. Well, now what we want you to do? Can you tell us your viewers and what we can expect for the next? I don't know if that was you, Denise. I might.
No, that's okay. No, go ahead.
Is that what you? Could you tell us what your
Tell
viewers?
you
What
what?
the next? What you're coming up? Any projects? Any
Oh,
promo
yeah.
that you like to promote? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I guess 2 weeks ago, they did drop the trailer for season 2 of Transformers War for Cybertron. I do not have a release date. I don't know it. Don't ask me. I know it's in post right now because the showrunner just had a Facebook post today showing the sound mixing going on.
Nice.
I do believe it's coming out by the end of the year, but I don't know. So yeah, the next thing that I can talk about would be season 2 of Transformers War for Cybertron on Netflix. You can catch season 1 right now.
Okay.
And then, you know, I've got some video games in development and some, you know, which of course I can't talk about until they come out. But yeah.
Well, no, and you know what? Whatever we have, we will put it in the description box.
Yeah,
So
and
the
then, you
viewers,
know,
whatever they want to see.
I started the D&D campaign on Mondays.
Oh, cool.
On twitch.tv/fabled42.
Okay.
Mondays at 5:30, Legends of Shalgal. And then, yeah, my talk show every week at 5, also on Fabled 42's Twitch. So, yeah, and that's all Pacific time. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm
No,
sorry.
hey,
Oh, that's right.
all right. We need
They'll
to know.
figure it.
Yeah, we need to know those things.
Yeah.
Yes, different times. All right. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you. And me
thank
and
you
Denise
so
appreciate it.
much.
Yeah, this was
You
fun.
guys are amazing. This was
Thank
so much
you.
fun. I think this
Thank
is the most fun interview that I've had.
Thank you. We like that. Yes.
See, that's what we want. That's what we're going for.
That's what we're going for. We want to be positive too. We don't want all that negativity.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again. And we are out. I am Joanne with Stuff to Discuss. This is Denise with Stuff to Discuss. And Lindsay, you are awesome. Stay awesome. And don't forget to thumbs up this video. Don't forget to comment and ring our bell and subscribe. So, yes, check her out in the description below. And we are out.